that'll do it from Oracle Arena. They live to play another day. The reigning champion Golden State Warriors defeat the OKC Thunder 120 to 111. My goodness, that was quite the finish there. It was a win or stay home until, next season.
Finally a good game, no blowout.
That is right.
That's
Finally a good game.
Yes.
120 to 111, though. It went down to the wire there at Oracle Arena. What was the difference in those final minutes?
Well, I thought the Warriors were more poised. They knew exactly what they were looking for. They did a good job finding their guys. I thought Bogut was huge, making some big free throws. I thought Spates provided a huge lift off the bench. He had 14 points in just over 8 minutes. And when you have your role guys step up like that, that takes pressure off everybody.
It wasn't just how they finished, though. It was how they started as well. A lot from Klay Thompson. 9 shots, 9 points in that first quarter.
He was very, very aggressive. I thought Steph would be the one that was more aggressive, but obviously Klay was riding that momentum he had last game, that third quarter. Getting up 9 shots in the first quarter, he set the tone. I think when he set the tone, everybody else was able to relax a little bit.
Saw a better focused team. I think the last 2 years we've seen this team score at will, have so much fun, the ball movement, all those things were happening. And tonight, to see Steph Curry show the kind of emotion, to your point, seeing Klay come out and saying, no, we're going to attack this team. We're not going to let them hit us first. That's what I was most impressed with, because we hadn't seen this team go through so much adversity that last year was such a smooth ride. Now with your back against the wall to hear, or should I say to see Steph hit that big shot and say, I'm not ready to go home yet. I'm not ready to go home yet. That lets you know that your superstar, your back-to-back MVP, had to dig a little deeper. You and I are watching the game. We're like, wait a minute. Steph is passing up a couple of shots we've never seen before. So it let me know that there was something going on inside here that would get him back focused, showing how good he really is.
Yeah, and I think when, like you said, when he got the layup and showed all the emotion, you usually don't see that kind of emotion from Steph Curry, but obviously, he wanted to play big. He's been struggling a little bit. People question if he's injured or not. Obviously, we can put that to rest. He's not injured. He's playing well. But he had to kind of find his rhythm again. I thought he did a good job that tonight.
I'm glad you said that, because for those people who thought he was injured, well, when he had those 19 points in game 2, I think it was second or third quarter, wasn't nobody saying anything about the ankle or the knee then, so why are we worried about now because you got blown out in 2 games on the road? You're the back-to-back MVP. You refocused, played great defense tonight. Big time steal down the stretch on Kevin Durant. So for all you people at home, let Steph be Steph. Let him play the game and not try to make excuses for him. So big-time bounce-back game for the MVP.
Well, Steve Kerr did say if he was hurt, he wouldn't be playing. He did say, though, he had a lousy night. I wanted to make sure I got the word right there, a lousy night. And he said that happens even to the best players in the world.
Exactly. So that's why it's fun to see the emotion, to see the desire, to see the passion. Because we've seen him smile, we've seen him flex and do all that. But tonight you saw a more serious demeanor because he understood that he wasn't ready to go home yet and he had to step up for his team.
What was the difference, though? Because we saw Steph go just 4 of 14 when he was matched up against KD. They've been defending him well, containing him extremely well. And then now we saw the first ever career playoff game for him with 30 points, finished with 31, and 5 steals. So he was getting it done on both ends of the floor. How was he able to break free?
Very active. I think, like me and 3D were talking about, he kind of passed up some shots to see what would be there, what wouldn't be there. And he found his rhythm. He really did. I thought guys did a good job finding him in the open court. They found him on back cuts, stuff to get him easy baskets, and that's why you saw the emotion. That's why you saw the inspired defense. Even, I think, blocked or stole it from KD as well. So he was ready to go tonight.
A lot of focus, though, of course, is going to be on Stephen Curry. He is the back-to-back MVP. He's looking to lead the reigning champions to a comeback here in the Western Conference Final. But the other guys also producing. We saw, apart from Harrison Barnes, 4 of their 5 starters scoring in double figures, 27 points from Klay Thompson, and that was exactly what you wanted to see from Klay. Yeah,
being aggressive, and Klay being the all-star, the two-way player that he is, and I think it was getting in foul trouble that last game on the road. Big-time third quarter, he had the 19 points. So tonight, to Jamal's point, he just came out ready to go and really putting his foot on the pedal and pushing and saying, okay, Steph, you're not going to go out and try to take this. I'm going to try to get us started.
And then, if you look at it, he took 21 shots. So he took 9 shots in the first quarter, 12 shots the next 3 quarters. But him putting his foot on the gas and pushing his team, propelling his team, allowed them to get 5 guys in double figures and have a balanced attack, and that's when they're at their best.
We also saw double-doubles from both Draymond Green and Andrew Bogut. Before we get to Draymond, because he has been inconsistent this series, how big was Andrew Bogut stepping up, especially in clutch time here at Oracle?
Big-time double-double, hit some big free throws. I thought his energy, his effort, tip in, tip dunks, adjusting shots, even ones he didn't block. So he was all over the place tonight, and they need that from him.
Absolutely. And that's an adjustment that I feel like, Billy Donovan and the Thunder have made, being able to take advantage inside. But, DZ, when he's able to take advantage offensively inside of that Thunder defense, the Warriors just significantly more successful.
So, such a great point, Chris. When he's tipping balls in, he had 4 offensive rebounds, so that's 4 extra possessions. So if he's not tipping it in, he's getting his team another possession. Well, now you get the ball back on the perimeter. Yeah. Now he's either looking for Clay or Steph shooting a 3. You throw in 5 offensive rebounds from Draymond Green. So now that's 9 extra possessions, knowing you're going against a team that can score like OKC can.
11 points, 13 rebounds for Draymond Green, and he's a guy that has taken a lot of responsibility for losses that the Warriors have seen thus far this series. Is that what you wanted to see from him? Is he back to kind of where we expect Draymond to be, or do you want to see more in Game 6?
Well, he's going to have to provide more. If not, they're going to probably go home. You know, with him, like you said, he's the lightning rod for their energy. He feeds the rest of the team. I thought tonight he was orchestrating. He had the ball. He was telling people, get Steph, get Clay open. He had big tip-ins. His defense was there as always. So he's definitely on the right track.
The energy, the defense, 4 huge block shots tonight. And that lets me know that he got back to being who he is. He took the 2 threes he missed, I thought were kind of out of character a little bit in transition. But the defense and getting those extra possessions back overcame those bad shots.
Their emotional leader as well. If you're Draymond and you're talking to these guys prior to Game 6, knowing how well they respond to you, what is it that you're telling them?
You're telling these guys, like, look, let's get back to playing Golden State Warrior basketball. It's good intensity on the defensive end. We talked about Bogan. He playing a good defense, blocking shots and rebounding. But the ball movement came back again tonight, so they got back up to, what, 25 assists? So they hover around between 25 and 30 assists tonight. That's their calling card on the offensive end that got back to their duty.
They've been out-rebounded throughout this series, and then they were able to be more so successful. You talked prior to this game about wanting to see them crash the boards. How important, though, was it for those guys, especially inside, to go ahead and get those stops, not only on the offensive end of the floor, but defensively as well inside? It
was huge. I think with OKC, obviously, they thrive on their offense. They've been doing a good job on defense as well, but their offense is their key. 2 of the top 5 players in the world, you know, so if you can kind of slow things down or make things difficult for them or kind of get them in contested twos, I think that works in your favor.
It's going to be fun now to see how OKC responds. KD plays 45 minutes. They gave it their all. They try to, get rid of this, send the Warriors home tonight. So now, does the pressure really go back on OKC because you're going home, or is the pressure still on the Warriors knowing that they haven't won there yet? The last 2 games, they got blown out. The same psychological thing that we've seen in the previous series.
Well, and let's talk about those guys for a minute. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook combining for 71 points. KD now with a 7th career playoff game with at least 40 points. Finishes with 40. Russ has 31. I mean, that's all you can expect from those guys. But what was the difference there tonight, I guess, as far as the lack of getting their teammates involved?
Well, I think it's a rhythm to how they play. Obviously, with those 2, they can pretty much score whenever they want. So getting those other guys confidence early, I think, sets the tone for them. We know that they can get shots whenever they feel like it. They can turn it on whenever they feel like it, especially in the 4th quarter. But like you said, Russ running the show, getting guys easier shots. They have confidence. Those other guys have confidence in the 4th quarter, so they can make a big shot for the team.
And to me, I think the X factor tonight was the bench. Yeah. Anthony Morrow came in, knocked down some big shots, but Waiters going over 4. So you're looking at 13 points off OKC's bench versus a 30 points off the Warriors' bench. They got back to who they are. Steph Curry got his normal rest. Chris Webber talked about how the bench unit, extended that lead as Steph Curry was on the bench. That's his normal rest, late 3rd quarter, first 3 or 4 minutes of the 4th quarter, then he comes back in the ballgame. So you give Steve Kerr a lot of credit for not panicking, playing his normal rotation.
Do you think, though, that could be a detriment whatsoever to the Thunder when KD and Russ are as productive as they have been offensively tonight? Your next leading scorer was Serge Ibaka, which is 13.
No, not really, because we've talked about it pretty much every night, Jamal, that role players play better at home than they do on the road.
Yes.
And that's what we saw again tonight. Golden State got home. All their role players and guys on the bench played very well tonight. Now OKC's hoping that the Waiters and the rest of those guys, they get back to OKC for Game 6. They play better.
Well, what direction do you think this thing heads then? Because, I mean, it was obviously a must-win situation for the Warriors because the season would have been over. But you kind of looked at it as, I mean, it was a pretty important win for the Thunder as well, because now you either have to finish at home on Saturday night, or you got to go to Game 7 at Oracle.
Definitely. I think OKC wants to end this thing as soon as possible. They don't want to play around and let it go to 7 and come back in front of that home crowd of Golden State's. They want to end it in OKC and get it done and move on to the next round. So for them, I think setting the tone early, getting those other guys going early, and then you have your 2 stars take over late.
You fought so hard to win Game 1 and steal it, which a lot of us thought you can do, right?
Right.
So that's why you got to win Game 6.
Yeah, you have to.
You got to win Game 6 because you fought so hard to get home court, to get that game in front of your crowd, a hostile environment. you don't want to go back to Oracle for Game 7 because now all the weight's off the shoulders. Now you got it. It's almost impossible to do, so that's why you got to win Game 6.
Well, then if you're the Warriors defensively and you're trying to extend this series, if any team could win 3 in a row, it's very likely the 73-win team from this season. But how do you better defend KD? Because heading into this one, we had seen a lot more success when Harrison Barnes was guarding him as opposed to Andre Iguodala. How do you contain him? I mean, dropping 40 points at Oracle, not ideal defensively.
Not at all, but if you're the Warriors, you're saying, okay, he had 40 and Russ had 31. They combined for 71, and they still lost.
Still win,
yeah,
right.
And they still will, the Warriors still got the win. So for them, I think, stay with the same game plan. Obviously, you give KD different looks. No one person can guard him. You keep him off the 3-line. You keep him off the free throw line because he's a foul magnet. And from there, you have to live with the results.
Waiters 0-4. Kander 0-1, and Anthony Morrow. So you're looking at a guy like Anthony Morrow who hadn't really played in this series. So if you take his 4-4 out, there's nothing coming from the bench. That's the difference. That's why OKC had been rolling early in this series because Russ and KD hadn't shot the ball great, but Robinson and all those different guys were making shots when they went to OKC. That's the difference this game tonight. No production from the bench.
Well, you mentioned Russ and KD and the Thunder rolling earlier in this series, but also early in the games. They notched 72 points in that first half, which was tying a franchise record that they had set the previous game with 72 as well. But tonight it was the Warriors who were attacking first. It was Klay Thompson who was attacking first. If you're the Thunder, do you want to go ahead and come out there at Chesapeake? Of course, we're going to figure that out on Saturday night. First, let's go ahead and let the Warriors head coach Steve Kerr take it away.
With no Curry, Thompson, and Green to start the fourth quarter, and you go on a quick 8-0 run. Do you feel like that's maybe where you won this game?
Well, I don't know if that was just the stretch, but it was a very important stretch. We had a lot of good contributions from a lot of players, but anytime we can get that out of our bench to start a quarter and buy our starters a couple more minutes rest, it's important.
Jeff Ferrato, Bay Area News Group. Steve, you said the other day that you guys really missed Bogut out there. He didn't get in foul trouble, but gave you almost 30 minutes. And talk about what his contribution was and how it changes having him out there, not having to go small.
I thought Bogues was phenomenal. He rebounded, he scored, he was aggressive. We went into him on the post to try to get him as a passer with our cutters around him, and he was tremendous. And 14 boards. Obviously, rebounding has been an issue. It's an issue for everybody against Oklahoma City. So when he can play that way and rebound the ball like that, it just gives us a much better chance to win the game.
Eric Horn, the Oklahoman. Steve, with those reports kind of circulating about Steph being 70% prior to the game, what do you think his performance showed tonight, particularly on defense, about how healthy he is?
I thought he looked like 91%. It's just talk. So there's always going to be speculation, but it's just talk. And he came out and he played a really good game, and that's all I can tell you. I mean, he's going to compete every night, and I thought he had an excellent night and helped us get it done.
Steve, right here, Tim Kawakami, Mercury News. Your players showed a lot of emotion out on the court, not just Draymond, but obviously Draymond, Steph, some other guys. Did you like seeing that? Did this game partly come down to just sheer emotion for them?
Yeah, I liked our will. I liked our fight. We were embarrassed in OKC the last couple of games, and we fought hard tonight, and that's half the battle. It's just competing and fighting, and I thought the Thunder played extremely hard and very well, and we had to play a good game to fend them off, and we did. But it was a great fight, and we had contributions up and down the roster, and that's kind of been our motto, as you know, for the last couple of years: strength in numbers, and we got a lot of good contributions from. You look at Mo, and LB came in, had a couple steals right away. Andre 8 assists and 1 turnover in 34 minutes. He kind of settles us down, and Sean Livingston hit some big shots in the second half. So it's really fun to see the bench play well.
Steve, Tariq Majedi with Afghanistan Basketball. Do you think you guys did enough this game to gain some momentum and confidence going into Game 6?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we did what we wanted to do. You know, we won the game and we fought hard. And we were even on the glass and for the most part kept our turnovers down, other than a couple of little lapses. But yeah, we got some momentum now. We got to take it to Oklahoma City.
Even with, you think, with Durant and Westbrook shooting in the 30s and them still real close at the end of the game?
Every game's different. So I thought we did a good job defending them, and we forced a lot of those misses, and we've got to do that again.
Scott Howard Cooper from NBA.com. This is the first time this team has been in this situation, an elimination game. Had not played with a great deal of poise at certain parts of the series. Were you confident how they would respond emotionally tonight, or were you curious to see what this team was going to have?
No, I knew how we would play. You know, this is it's a championship team. They've been through a lot in the last couple of years. Always responded well from adversity, and this was exactly what I expected.
Steve, Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. Andrews' play on defense, how much did that affect the game? Staying big more. They missed a lot of shots in the paint. Most of them were contested. What impact did he, being on the floor that long, have stopping their inside game?
He was a big part of that. You know, Bogues is our best defender. He takes up a lot of space. He challenges everything at the rim. And staying out of foul trouble allowed us to keep him on the floor. And played almost 30 minutes. I think the first 4 games he was averaging 13, 14 minutes because of all the fouls. So it's probably the key. If you want to look for one thing, Bogues' play leading to better defense.
Steve, Ron Karchik from the San Francisco Chronicle. You kind of just addressed it, but the defense, you looked overwhelmed at times in Oklahoma City, but it seemed like right off the start today, I mean, you held them to 12 points in the first 8-10 minutes. Beyond Bogut, what was different about everybody in the way you guys played defensively?
Well, we had great energy. We played with great desperation. That's how you have to play in the playoffs. And we were out of sorts in the last 2 games, and we looked a lot more like ourselves. And you know, that's really who we are. We're a defensive team that, you know, plays off of our defense and tries to run, and we had that good balance tonight.
Steve, Lowell Cone, Santa Rosa, Press Democrat. Steve, you guys are the champion. Does it factor in that you don't want to give it up, as good as the Thunder are, that there's a champion's pride in this?
For sure. We've had so much fun the last 2 years. Obviously, winning the title, that's as good as it gets if you play in the NBA. So our guys have had a spectacular run here in the last 2 years. They've loved every second of it. They don't want it to end. And no matter how you look at it, if you're not the last team standing, it's tough. You know, it's a disappointing way to go out. And so we want to hang in there. We want to win the next 2 and get back to the finals. And we know how difficult it's going to be, but we'll give it a great shot.
Coach Kerr, Antonio Harvey, Sacramento Observer. You seem to know when to put Maurice Spates in at the right time. It appears sometimes, you know, you put him in when you got a lead, and he can come in and pad that lead. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, Mo is instant offense for us. He gives us a totally different look. You know, we don't have shooting from our 5 men. So he allows us to spread the floor and change the pace a little bit, change the look. And he plays well with that second group, and he was tremendous tonight. He was aggressive, looked for his shot, and I thought he also did a good job defensively getting out on screening rules.
Roz Goldenwood, CSN Bay Area. Coach Kerr, Andrew Bogut's minutes jumped from the first couple to almost 30 minutes today. Great performance. How sustainable is it to keep him playing that way that long?
Oh, I believe in Bogues. I think he can play that way in Game 6, and you know, I think he really found his stride tonight, and I think that momentum will carry over.
Dean Blavin, CBS, Oklahoma City. Russell had big numbers, but are these numbers you can live with, Steve, because he had to put up 28 shots to get them and had 7 turnovers?
The one thing you can be sure of with Russell is there's going to be numbers on every category down the list. The guy is he's a tornado out there. He really is. He's going to get steals. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to get to the foul line. He's going to get his shots. He's going to turn it over some because of his aggression. He's going to do all of that, and that's why he's the player he is. He's unlike anybody in the league.
Carl Stewart from the Bay Area News Group. You had one tenuous moment there in the third quarter when Draymond fouled Durant and got the technical, 4 free throws. You talked to him during the timeout there. What did you tell him, and how do you think he played after that?
I thought he played really well. The conversation was, between us, but I thought he played very well. He settled himself down and showed great poise and energy. He just had that brief sort of 2 or 3 minute spell where he got a little out of sorts, but he recovered well from that.
Last one, right-hand side. Yeah, Kevin Radich, KCBS. Steve, what was the message from you to this group? They have a lot of pride, obviously, champions' pride. Did you have to say a whole lot, and how did they take it?
I didn't have to say a whole lot. We know who we are. We know how we play. We got away from that the last couple of games, and it's just a matter of getting back to our identity and to playing with that desperation that we need to play with. And I thought they did a good job of that.
Here's the highlights. Game 5 of the Western Conference Final. The Warriors hosting the OKC Thunder and looking to stay alive at Oracle. Off to a good start as well. Draymond with a block on Russ. Warriors headed the other way. And look at this.
The pump fake?
360-degree angle from Intel.
I like it.
With the long 2. The Warriors changing the pace early on.
Yeah, it's like the fact that Steph's being aggressive, but toes on the line on that one.
He'd have 11 points in that first half, and Oracle Arena fired up, which, Jamal, is exactly what you said you wanted to see early.
Definitely. They got the crowd involved. Steph's getting the crowd involved when he's going like that, and he's showing that kind of excitement. As an Oracle Arena fan, you have no choice but to be excited.
15 points and 14 rebounds for Andrew Bogut. The Warriors would lead the way by 8 at the half. OKC would make a run, though.
That was nasty. Right to left crossover with a quick, got him.
71 points between Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. There's the pull-up jumper, then the three-pointer to take the lead. The Thunder's first lead of the game there in that third quarter.
Yes, I didn't think they were going to look back after that. I thought they cleared the hurdle, the mental hurdle of getting back in the game. They took the lead. I thought they'd take off from there.
Well, Golden State would regain that lead and keep it for the rest of the quarter. There's Draymond, the finish, plus the foul. Their emotional leader here in this game, Dennis.
Yeah, he's showing a lot of emotions right there. Big time steal, get out and run and get the big and one.
It would be Golden State's bench, though, helping to build that lead. Harrison Barnes, Sean Livingston, Mo Spates, Mo buckets, giving them playoff buckets.
He had 14 of the 30 points off the bench. He really ignited them. He was ready for war, and he came and inspired his troops tonight.
The biggest lead of the night was right there at 13, with the Warriors up 96-83. But to little to no surprise, OKC would not quit. The Thunder headed the other way off the turnover. KD getting the 3 to cut the deficit to 5. He had 40 points in this game.
Well, great extra pass by Serge Ibaka. We know he can knock down threes, but I think he's smart enough to get it to KD.
Yeah.
No surprise, the MVP would answer. Driving, flipping it in, plus
Listen, I
the
was
foul.
so impressed at all the drives we saw from Steph. We get enamored with the three-point shot, but tonight he went in there and took the contact.
Huge defensive play right there, too.
Yeah, he'd get it done defensively. The first ever playoff game of his career with at least 30-plus points and 5 steals, getting it done on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, that was huge. We kind of got on the last 2 games on his defense, and tonight he brought the effort.
There he
Cookies!
goes.
Yes.
Stripping KD with less than 2 minutes to go.
He said, KD, I got to get you back. You got me last game. You're same type of steal. Good call. Good call, Jay.
Now take a look at this one. On the other end, Curry driving, flipping in the reverse layup. Then watch his mouth here, because you may not have seen this during the game, but he'll say it right here to you. Hang on.
What's he telling us?
We are not going home.
Oh.
And he played with that same emotion all night, and you could tell, and he wore it on his shoulders, and he came through for his team.
The game, though, did appear to be over, but then the Thunder continuing to fire back until late in this game. Russ gets the runner plus the foul.
I like to see it from OKC. Obviously, they want to win the game, but they say we're not going to lay down. We're going to play to the final buzzer, and we'll see you guys in Game 6.
That was a huge miss right there. Russ misses the free throw, gets the rebound,
Yes.
gives it to KD. KD makes that.
You live with that shot.
Oh, you live with it all
Best
day
scorer in
long.
the world. You got to allow them to do that.
The Warriors would win it and stay alive, 120 to 111. This series now shifts back to OKC Saturday night. It was a win or go home. Well, I guess win or stay home kind of situation, but they did do it, forcing a Game 6. Here's what Thunder head coach Billy Donovan had to say after the game.
Well, I thought we, really battled and competed tonight at a really high level. Obviously, coming into a difficult environment, I thought we had really good composure. We struggled, I thought, in the first half offensively. I thought we came out the third quarter and had better ball movement. They obviously went on some runs. I thought we really hung in there pretty well, and give our guys a lot of credit for how hard they competed and how hard they played. The difference in the game was the fact that they went to the free throw line 34 times. To me, that was really something that was very, very difficult to overcome. We didn't shoot a particularly good percentage when we got into the lane and we got into the deep paint. So I think, our shooting percentage, we've always been a pretty good deep paint finishing team. But I think our inability maybe to finish some plays around the basket where we had a chance to, coupled with the free throws, was certainly a difference in the game.
Billy Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman, that hard to score in the paint, how much of that was attributed to Bogut playing much more tonight than he had in the rest of the series? And I think he played 30 minutes.
Yeah. He played well. I think one of the things that hurt our rhythm and flow a little bit is I thought Stevens' 2 early fouls, taking him off the bench. But, I think Steving out there with, Bogut, around the basket, to your point, it does give us a chance to offensive rebound, when we have a little bit of size. And I think with Steven off the floor at that point in time, I think we were small when we had to take him out of the game. But, Bogut contributed, obviously, tonight to their team.
Anthony Slater with Oklahoma. Billy, you mentioned some of their runs, but is the one that's maybe the most killer that 8-0 burst to start the fourth quarter when they kind of had all their bench players out there? Yeah,
they got a good lift there. They went on that. It was just 2 baskets, to be honest with you. It was, I think it was a 3 and then a 2 by Livingston, then a 3, and we called timeout. It was 5 points there, and I think it was, the lead went to 9 pretty quickly, on just 2 possessions, and we didn't have 2 great offensive possessions. Or really, it was 1 offensive possession in the fourth because they started with the ball. So, but again, our guys got back in. Kevin had a chance with a shot to, I think, cut it to 3 at one point. We got back into range. We had our opportunities, and again, I give our guys credit. They battled and fought the whole entire game, and when you go on the road and play, it's not going to always be smooth and easy, and you're going to have to deal with some adversity, and I thought our guys handled it very, very well and gave ourselves an opportunity.
Dean Blevins, CBS Oklahoma City. You got nothing inside from Ennis, but really he only had 6 minutes. What was behind that? Were his minutes down because of not producing, or was it more of a?
Yeah, I think for us, from a strategic standpoint, just different matchups that we're looking at and trying to inject him in the game and give him an opportunity to be productive and kind of help. I thought he had some opportunities, even the last couple games where he's been in position to grab a couple offensive rebounds he hasn't been able to quite hold. He's had a couple plays around the rim that, he hasn't been able to quite finish. But I still have confidence in it and still feel like he can have an impact. But I think for us, looking at different matchups, that makes sense for him where he can be effective is important too.
Coach Donovan right here. Tariq Majedi with Afghanistan basketball. Just wondering, how do you explain the fact that there's been such a free throw discrepancy for the home team, except for game 1? I think every game has had the home team significantly lead in free throw attempts.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. Again, we're a team. I think that at least for us, I can comment about us. We've always been a team that's gotten to the free throw line at a very, very high rate. Over the regular season, I think, if you look at it. But certainly, I think the discrepancy tonight for free throws, for whatever reason, that was really, to me, the difference in the game.
Billy, Michelle Steele, ESPN. The last couple of days, you'd been talking about just, not counting Steph Curry out despite, reports of him being less than 100%. What's going through your mind as a coach tonight when he goes on those, 7-0 runs in the second quarter, starts to take over the game to end the game? How do you combat that?
Well, I mean, you know, I've said this before. I think one of the things that people were talking about, you know, was, you know, his shooting percentage or Klay Thompson's shooting percentage, you know, and is it all attributed to our defense? And I hope I was being fair. You know, I said, no. I mean, I've seen these guys make really, really hard shots. And there's been times when, you know, the ball doesn't go in the basket for them. It's not always attributed to our defense when they don't play well. We hope that we can get a hand up. But the reality is this. Once the ball leaves his hands, and once it leaves Klay Thompson's hands, and once it leaves Durant's hands, you know, or once it leaves Westbrook's hands, all bets are off. Like, there's nothing else you can do. So you're not discouraging the ball from going to the basket. Once those guys get it off, it's off. And now really you're left at the mercy of the ball going in and out of the basket. So, yes, you got to try to challenge those shots as best you can and make them as difficult as you can. But when he's making those kind of shots, you don't get emotionally even involved in that. That's who he is, and that's what he's done, and that's what's made him a very good player. And, you know, I think that's, you know, when you look at a guy like Russell or Kevin make those kind of shots, it's the same thing. It's only one basket, you know what I mean? So you just got to be able to move on and move past it and just stay the course in what you're trying to do.
Billy Brian Brinkley, KFOR TV, Oklahoma City. What did you think of the ball movement, the rhythm on offense, shot selection, everything?
I thought the first half it was not great. I thought we had some opportunities to drive and kick. I thought in the second half it was better. You know, we did a better job. You know, we shot the ball well from the three-point line, and I think that was really an indication of the fact that when we got downhill, they converged, and when we kicked the ball back out, we generated some three-point shots. You know, we made 13 threes and shot a real high percentage from the three-point line. I thought maybe a little bit in the first half we had some opportunities to do that. We did it in the third quarter, and it got us back in the game. But it's something, you know, we got to keep on doing, you know, to really make a point of emphasis of doing that, because when you're playing against a good defensive team, they're generally going to take away your first or second option. Sometimes you got to get into a little bit more movement.
Coach Donovan, Antonio Harvey, Sacramento Observer. I think you shot the Thunder shot 6 for 26 maybe in that first quarter, and then you elected to go with Anthony Morrow, and he came in and knocked down 4 shots with you. Was that just something, you know, based on, you know, the shooting percentage that you were dealing with at the time, that, you know, you felt that you had to put him in early?
No, not really. I think what we were dealing with is we had some foul difficulties with Adams. You know, Dion Waiters, you know, he had some fouls too. So we kind of moved pieces around a little bit. Wanted to create a little bit more spacing. I felt like with the way that they were converging on the paint, that we could maybe space it and maybe generate a couple shots for Anthony. And I thought he came off the bench and gave us a really good boost. You know, his points in the first half really helped us.
Myron Patton, Fox 25. What do you think going forward now? You get to go back home, another chance to kind of close things out. Coming off this game, what do you feel about your team going forward?
Well, you know, again, it's a series right now. And, you know, we put all of our emphasis and all of our effort into tonight, you know, to play the very best we could. There was moments where I thought we played very well, moments we could have played better. You know, travel back. Again, try to continually evolve and get better from this. Find ways that we need to improve, things that we need to do. You know, and then get ready to play again. You know, for this next one, get ready to play Game 6.
Art Spander of the San Francisco Examiner. You know the controversy. Of course, Draymond's been in the last couple of days. The first half, he seemed to be in some sort of a daze. He gets the technical and then starts rebounding and blocking shots. How much of a factor was he?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player, and I think he helps their team. But I think the one thing that makes their team a good team is that, you know, they're a team. They've got a lot of pieces that complement each other very well. You know, he's a good player, so he's going to make plays that impact the game in different ways at different times. You know, he can do it with his passing on offense, or as you just mentioned, with his defense.
Yeah, Billy, your small lineup that was so good in Oklahoma City was not all that effective tonight. What do you think was the problem with that particular lineup?
Well, I really thought offensively we've been really, really good. I didn't think it was a struggle for us on defense. I thought we were okay there defensively. because I think we've got enough pieces to move around and do some different things schematically against them. I really thought that offensively we struggled really that whole first half in particular. We had a couple good moments, but we were really getting downhill. We were penetrating. I thought we needed to move the ball and generate some more open looks than we did. I think if we would have done that, then maybe it would have looked a little bit better. But this is, like my point, sometimes you get into these plus minuses on these lineups right now, and I'm anxious to go back and really break it down of, okay, well, why wasn't it effective? What was the reason it wasn't effective? But from not seeing the film, that's the first thing that stood out to me, at least sitting over there for the first half, is I just didn't think that I thought we did a great job attacking the paint, attacking the basket. Just those split-second decisions of whether or not to try to go finish or extra pass was going to be important. Yep.
Ken Berger, CBS Sports. Billy, when you had to eliminate the Spurs, a team that had so much success over the years, and now you're having to do the same against a team that won 73 games, how do you go about sort of trying to demystify the opponent and get your guys to focus in on the details and the execution and not so much the mystique of who you're playing and what they've done?
Well, like I said before, we're playing against a terrific team. We have great respect for them. And, this, I think, series has made us better. It's helped us improve. It's helped us grow. It's helped us get better. So, we're in a series right now, and it's, on to the next game, and we'll have to go back and regroup and, really prepare as well as we can tomorrow at shoot-around and try to get ready to play again. Okay, thank you.
Thunder coach Billy Donovan saying that the difference in that game is that Golden State went to the free throw line 34 times. He said that plus their inability to finish around the basket was the difference in this game. The Warriors do win it, avoid elimination. Here's Klay Thompson and Draymond Green.
You seem to return to the old Dre. Was there anything to that?
After that, it was just like, all right, if I'm going to try not to get attacked and I'm going to still get attacked, then I'm going to just be me, and I'm not going to worry about all the rest of the stuff that's going on. I'm not going to worry about trying to be sensitive to this or sensitive to that. If I'm going to get attacked for that, then I might as well just be me anyway. So that was kind of my mindset.
Draymond, Lowell Cohn from the Santa Rosa Press Democrat. You had a tough time in the previous two games. Is Draymond Green back now?
I think I was better tonight, but I still didn't do all the things I'm capable of doing. But, shots, sometimes you can't control that. Sometimes you can't control certain stuff on the floor. But the one thing I can control is the way I go out there and fight and battle. And that was my mindset tonight. I was coming to a fight. And that's it. I'm going to go out there and do that. If all else fails, I'm going to fight. And that's kind of what I did, and that'll be my mindset for the rest of the series.
Draymond, Ron Karczyk from the San Francisco Chronicle. You talk about fighting, and Steve said he was proud of the will and the fight you guys showed. Any example? Did you know that in the locker room? Not just you, but everybody had that ferocity back that was missing in Oklahoma City?
I knew, I kind of knew after the game at OKC, the way everybody reacted to losing, the way everybody talked and felt, and, going in the film this morning, you could just see everybody was up. Everybody's spirits were high after the film. After the walkthrough, everybody's spirits was high. And I knew then that everybody was ready to go and was going to bring that dog to the game.
Tim Kawakami at Mercury News. Klay, you don't always show emotion, but you showed some emotion on that court. Obviously, Draymond did. Steph did. How important was that in the game, and how much do you need it for each successive game in the series?
It's fun playing with emotion. None of us want to go home. We having too much fun out there. No matter what adversity we face, it's fun being out there with the guys and just going to battle. And we got to play with the same type of intensity and emotion on Saturday, maybe even exceed it, because we're in their building. And if we do that and just play with the same poise we did tonight, we'll be in a great position.
Klay, Alan from Tencent. So you look very aggressive from the beginning tonight. And you took 9 shots compared to 4 shots last game, the whole first half. What's the mindset change this game?
It's not to pick up any quick fouls. I hate not being out there on my own terms as far as just setting myself to the bench with 2 stupid fouls. But mindset was just be aggressive, be patient at times. Took a couple rush shots there in the beginning, but I settled down once I started
playing smarter as far as moving off the ball and playing through my teammates.
Hey, Draymond, up front, Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press, Democrat. It wasn't like you guys were perfect with the ball, but you didn't throw those passes either in the lane or over the top that they kept tipping and turning into points. They didn't have many points off of those turnovers. What were some of the discussions coming into this game about avoiding those?
Just, you know, when you're playing against a team with that much length and they use their length well, you can't make the same passes that you always make. The first pass that look open, the way you're used to doing it, it's really not open because as soon as they do this, they're going to get a deflection. So, you know, we knew that, you know, if you got to be sure on the passes you're making. You know, maybe even take a double look, you know, because if it's open, it's going to be there, you know, but the first time you may think it's open, it's really not because those guys use their length very well. And I think we did a great job of coming to jump stops and keeping our poise and not just really being in a rush. I think it was more the flow of the offense, using that, and then being fast but not in a hurry.
Yeah, Draymond, Barry Trammell from the Oklahoman. The Thunder was not very efficient in the paint, missed a lot of shots in the paint. Andrew played a lot more tonight than he has in the series. How much was he responsible for making life tougher on them when they got into the paint?
Big fella was amazing tonight. On both ends of the floor, you know, he used his verticality on the defensive end, and he was great on the offensive end as well. And, you know, if we're going to come back and win this series like we plan on doing, we need him to continue to play that way, which I have no doubt in my mind that he will. And the most important thing was, you know, I think last game he got a little frustrated as well, and he picked up a few silly fouls. You know, today he was smart. He didn't pick up any silly fouls, and he dominated the game on both ends.
Martin Patton, KOKH. This is both of you can answer. The two games in Oklahoma City, was there some doubt creeping in your mind, and did tonight's game restore any doubt, if it did?
I'll answer this. No, not when you play with this man on my right. He'll never doubt our talent. He'll never doubt our ferocity and our toughness. And even after that, you know, tough loss we took last game, you know, Draymond set the tone after the game like, look, we've accomplished a lot this year, faced some adversity, believe it or not, even with the 73-9 season, and we all know we're not ready to be done, and we can do it just one game at a time, obviously, and enjoy it because it's I mean, it's tough to win a championship. It's tough to win the West. You know, yeah.
Yeah, this is for Draymond. Kevin Radich, KCBS. How much soul searching did you have to do individually in your private moments after games 3 and 4?
I didn't really have to do a lot of soul searching because I knew exactly what it was, you know, but you know, sometimes we all need a little shoulder to lean on, you know, somebody to call on, somebody to talk to. And, you know, I approach this like it's life or death. You know, it's not just a game to me. You know, I love this. This is what I do. And when I don't live up to who I know I am, it bothers me. And so I had a lot of people, you know, who's in my corner reaching out to me, you know, and it was great. You know, it helped me out a lot. I had a lot of guys who I've played against that reached out to me. You know, Matt Barnes, Big Baby Davis, Nate Robinson, like all those guys reached out to me. And just to have all those people reach out to me really let me know, like, bro, you somewhere else that I was on another planet somewhere or something. You know, just to have all those people reaching out to me. But it was also something that I already knew, you know. So I just said, you know, at the end of the day, I'm coming out here, like I said earlier, to fight. And I'm not going to worry about missing a shot. You know, I'm not going to worry about if I turn the ball over. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to just go out here and play like I've done all year. And everything else will take care of itself. So that was kind of my mindset.
This is Michelle Steele, ESPN. I have a question for Dre. I know that you had mentioned that Kobe had texted you and he gave you a little bit of motivation. How much did you have that in mind tonight? And did you text him back?
Yeah, I texted him back. I actually talked to him on the phone yesterday, and you know, it was great, you know, because like he said, if it's easy, why bother? You know, anybody can do it if it was easy, and so that kind of said well with me. And you know, talking to him yesterday, that's a guy who's been through it all, man. You know, he's been through having the fans love him, he's been through having the fans completely hate him, and when they hated him, he used that as fuel. You know, so it's good to talk to him, and you know, it's always great. You know, anybody can tell you something, but when you got a guy like that who's really been through everything, it kind of hits home a little bit more. And so it was great.
Draymond, Tim Calicani, Mercury News.
talk about you before this game. We talked about Steph too. How important was for you to connect, for you guys to kind of lift each other's game? And did you think that happened today?
It was very important. You know, it's not just us two. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, Clay's been great for us. Even last game, he tried to carry us, and you know, me and Steph didn't bring what we needed to bring. You know, but we do feed off each other, and you know, like I said, when you got guys like a Clay who's playing well, a Bogut who comes out and play well, it's easier for us to look to them and say, all right, you know, we got to pick it up, we got to go along with them as well. And so it's more of a, like, I can't let these guys down, you know, and I think that was kind of both of our mindset, you know, coming out here is, like, everybody's put in so much work this year, and I know I felt like I was letting them down, more so than, like, I care about myself. Like, I care about these guys, and everybody's grinding, everybody's putting in work. This is what we work for, and we can't let each other down. So I know that was my mindset, and I can kind of sense that was Steph's as well.
Tim McMahon, ESPN.com. Draymond, given the way the last two games in OKC went, what gives you confidence that you guys can get this series back here for Game 7?
You know, this ain't our first time going on the road, you know, and we know what it takes to win on the road. And we have to make sure that we stick to that. We have to go in there and follow the game plan, and we have to go in there and completely exceed their intensity level, because that's a tough building to play in. You know, they feed off that crowd. They're always in attack mode there, so we got to make sure we go in there and exceed their intensity level and try to take the crowd out the game. And we've done it before, and we know what it takes to do it, so we just got to make sure that we use that experience. Obviously, it's a different team, different challenge, but same formula.
Great. Thank you. Ooh.
The reigning champion Golden State Warriors hold off elimination, force a Game 6, and we'll hear from the MVP Stephen Curry right after the break. The Golden State Warriors force a Game 6 at OKC Saturday night. The Thunder now lead the way 3-2, and now we welcome in Joe Borgia, the NBA's Senior Vice President of Replay and Referee Operations. Joe, thanks for taking the time. Now, with 10:03 remaining in the first, an offensive foul is called on Steven Adams on that play. Will you just explain to me how that happened with him on the other side of the basket?
Sure, Kristen. What you're going to see on the play is Robertson's going to drive from the right side of the basket to line drive. And what happens on the play is Bogut tries to go over to defend that drive. And if you watch the replay here, watch Adams' right hand. You see how he grabs him around the hip there? So that little hold right there, that's what we talk about freedom of movement. And that little hold prevents Bogut possibly from getting over to defend that drive by Robertson. So that's where the offensive foul came from. It is a little unusual to see an offensive foul on the weak side.
Joe Borgia, the man who never sleeps. Thank you for breaking it down for us as usual.
Thanks for having me, Kristen.
Of course, Joe. We've got now Kevin Durant, the former MVP, and Russell Westbrook at the podium. They combined for 71 points, 40 from Kevin, 31 from Russ. Here's what they had to say after the game.
Kevin, you first. You guys missed a lot of shots in the paint tonight that you hadn't been missing. Bogut played a lot more. Is it tougher to score when he's in the game? He played 30 minutes. He hadn't been playing near that long.
He's a good rim protector, but I thought we had good looks that we missed. I remember a couple times, you know, we had 2 or 3 layups in a row that we missed, and it's missing a wide open layup in the paint. I missed a few. But, yeah, he's a good rim protector. He's definitely been doing that for him all season, but we got great looks. It's nothing more than that.
Anthony Slater with Oklahoma, and it was a game of runs, obviously, but did you feel like the one to start the fourth with they had their bench crew out there and kind of went 8-0 real quick, was that kind of a game changer?
Yeah, it was. You know, they made shots. You know, they made those 2 threes that were huge for them and kind of stretched the lead. And, that was tough. You know, their bench came in and made shots. We made plays for them tonight.
Royce Young, ESPN.com. Kevin, as you guys move forward to Saturday now, where's your mind at? And, you guys took care of business pretty handily in Oklahoma City. Where's your head at going forward?
You know, we know we're going back home, but, you know, we can't relax. We got to keep our foot on the gas. And, you know, we got to play much better. I thought we played extremely hard tonight. They didn't outplay us. They didn't outwork us. I thought both teams, you know, were in a slugfest tonight. And, you know, so we gotta bring that energy back home. And, you know, it's a matter of us making a few shots and, you know, playing a little more solid defense on them, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Russell, your small lineup with Dion and Andre together was so effective in Oklahoma City. It wasn't nearly as effective tonight. What do you think was the difference tonight?
Not sure. I mean, we're going to stick to it. We trust in our guys, and we got confidence in that lineup. We'll be all right.
Dean Blevins, CBS Oklahoma City. KD, Billy pointed directly to the free throw disparity as one of the two biggest keys in the game. Your thoughts on that?
They shot more than us, but there's a few possessions here and there. We got some good looks. We could have. We had some turnovers, but it's not mainly just because of the free throws. Obviously, that's easy points, but, there's a lot of more plays in the game that we could have been better at. And, all of us know it. So, we got to watch film and see where we can grow.
Kevin, just to follow up on the free throws, for this whole series except game one, the home team has led in free throw attempts. Not trying to bait you into a fine or anything, but why do you just think there's more free throw attempts for the home team?
I have no clue. I mean, just being aggressive. A more aggressive team is going to get the calls. So, I thought tonight we were pretty aggressive as well. They were too, but it's not on us. We can't control that. We still got to go out there and play, and I think we didn't let that affect us. We played with a lot of confidence and a lot of heart and grit tonight, and we just got to be better next game.
Kevin, Michelle Steele, ESPN. Obviously it's a tough night. Curry's shooting better, but he also came up with a big steal in the fourth. Do you think that he's underrated as a defender?
Getting steals, I don't know if that's just that's a part of playing defense, but he's pretty good, but he doesn't guard the best point guards. I think they do a good job of putting a couple guys on Russell, from Thompson to Iguodala, and Steph, though, they throw him in there sometimes. So he moves his feet pretty well. He's good with his hands, but I like our matchup with him guarding Russ.
Oh, Scott Osler, the Chronicle. Russell, switching it the other way around, Steph had his most effective game tonight of the series, it looked like. Was he doing anything different? Were you guys doing anything different? What did you see in Curry tonight?
We didn't do nothing different. He made some tough shots, got to the line. Made him shoot tough shots and make him finish over our bigs.
Brian Brinkley, KFOR TV, for either one of you. The rhythm on offense didn't seem like it was there tonight as it was the last two games. What did you think of the ball movement, shot selection? You had a lot of turnovers as well.
We could do better. Like Kevin said, we missed a lot of easy shots, and definitely some passes that we could have made, some turnovers on my behalf. But we go back and look at the film and see what we can get some more open shots at, and hopefully we finish easy basket at the house.
Royce Young, ESPN.com. Kevin, how much you want that three back with 35 seconds left?
Oh, shit. That would have been, 30 seconds to go, 3-point game. Hell yeah, I want it back. But I'm living with that. I can't think about it. Just move past it. I had a great look. Russell made an unbelievable play, put me in position to knock down an open shot. Maybe I need two guys flying at me. Maybe I'd have made it, but I wish I could have hit that one.
Myron Patton, KOKH. How much did it hurt, or just throw your rhythm off that Stephen got a couple quick fouls early and had to go to the bench?
I think that took away from his aggressiveness a little bit. We knew coming in the game they was going to try to, look for Stephen and look to, see, look for his physical play. But I thought he did a great job of coming back in and playing hard and making plays for us. So, when you get 2 fouls early, you think about it a little bit. But he did a good job of just kind of locking back in and playing well the rest of the game.
James Ham, CSM Bay Area. You guys shot 59 of your team's 91 shots between the two of you. Are there times where you guys get kind of caught up in just your own game and sometimes forget about the guys around you?
No. That's who we are. We got to be aggressive. When they going in, you won't say anything. But we happened to miss some tonight. But we were aggressive. We were right there. We had an opportunity to win a basketball game. That's what we do. That's how we play. And like it or not. But like I said, I made 4 more shots. Russ make 5 more shots. You're not really talking about it. So you can't say nothing when we miss, but don't say nothing when we make them.
When we come back, Stephen Curry, the MVP, helping his guys force a Game 6. We'll hear from him as the post-game news conferences continue. Let's take a look at tonight's Miller Time moment. Stephen Curry getting it done on both ends of the floor. Steph with his first career playoff game with at least 30 points. He finished with 31 and 5 steals as well.
Cookies! You got Kevin Durant back because Kevin Durant got him last game. So I know a lot of people are nitpicking with Steph Curry's defense, but he brought the effort tonight.
Look at this. We are not going home, he says. He passed Wilt Chamberlain, the career playoff scoring leaders in Warriors franchise history, now with 1,263 of them. Not bad. I thought it was funny that Coach Steve Kerr was asked after the game about Stephen playing potentially at 70 or so % as far as his health goes. He then said, I think he looked at about 91%.
91. It's 91.
It's just talk. There's always going to be speculation. He's competing every night. He helped us get it done. What was the difference in Stephen Curry's game tonight?
His focus right from the start. He was very, very locked in. He came to play. He didn't want to go home. Obviously, he said that, but you could tell it was on his mind all night and probably the last 2 days. This game couldn't come fast enough for him, and they showed improved tonight.
Very serious is the word I like to use because a lot of times, Jamal, you notice when you're the best player and you're the MVP, you try to come out and do too much. Very similar to what LeBron James did last night, didn't shoot a lot. Then Steph Curry said, you know what, I'm going to do what I do. Let's see what Steph has to say.
Steph, Alan from Tencent. So you play great in the fourth quarter and physically you look great. And do you think like playing less minutes in the first half and first quarter help you in the fourth quarter?
We had a slightly different rotation for sure, and we really relied on the entire team tonight, which is when we're at our best, when everybody has an impact on the game. So, every night will be different, just depending on how Coach Kerr wants to throw us out there and what grouping. So just got to be ready. And considering, the situation, when you're out there, whether it's 30 minutes or 45 minutes, it's going to take all of your energy to get wins.
Steph, Jet from the World Journal. Yeah, you shot it not well in the game 4, but you scored 12 points in the first quarter. What's the big difference?
Same shots, just got to continue to have confidence and take them. That's it.
Steph, Carl Stewart from the Bay Area News Group. You said right after the game, you said that Game 6 will be probably the toughest games of your lives. I mean, how do you go in there and get a win? And was the effort tonight good enough to win in Oklahoma City?
I think the effort was good. We still can play better, for sure. There are still a couple possessions that we gave away on turnovers, especially in transition when we got stops. We had advantages and had some bad timing on passes and came up empty-handed a good amount of time, and I think we still fouled too much at the wrong times when they could, kill momentum and get to the free throw line. It'll take all of our IQ, all of our gamesmanship, and just, 48 great minutes to get a win down there, considering how the last 2 games gone. So there's going to be a decision point in that game where we can either keep our foot on the gas pedal and and keep momentum and take the crowd out of it, or let them do what they've been doing. And we have to control that situation.
Steph, over here. Tariq Majedi with Afghanistan Basketball. First of all, props on the shirt choice. Second of all, can you explain to the average non-basketball player what it's so important about home court advantage as opposed to playing on the road, like for you particularly yourself?
When you can feed off your crowd's energy and that noise when you make runs, and the road team, when they can kind of just feel the roof kind of coming in a little bit when the home team goes on those 6-0, 8-0 runs, whatever it may be. And the adrenaline rush is amazing, and it's also fun, obviously, to win on the road when you can quiet a road crowd, but it's significantly harder to do that. But that's why it's so important what you do during the regular season to secure home court advantage, because you usually play better at home.
Scott Howard Cooper from NBA.com. You guys have been in a lot of pressure situations the last almost 2 seasons, but never a desperate situation facing elimination. What did that feel like for you guys? Did it feel different? And what sense of accomplishment is there to have responded to it so well?
I mean, honestly, we just did what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to win at home as a team that's only lost 2 games in the regular season and whatnot. So this is a place where we have experienced a lot of winning, and we're supposed to do to take care of games like tonight. There's no real sense of accomplishment because of that, because we know what we still have to do going forward. But we did, take advantage of the opportunity at home to stay alive and, force Game 6.
Scott Ostler, The Chronicle. Steph, your three-point numbers are down, shots, takes, and makes, even tonight. Is this the best three-point defense that you face during the year? And if so, what do they do?
I mean, they know that's our strength, so they switch a lot and try to, run you out the 3-point line. Getting decent looks. Haven't made many in the last, 3 games, but the way that you kind of go at this team is move the ball like we did tonight and create confusion because they do switch so much. And still have confidence in those moments to take those shots. The ones where they get you in trouble is when you ISO and do 8 dribbles and change direction and try to still search for that 3. That's the one that's tempting, and you kind of have to feel the moment whether you're going to take them or not. But those are the ones that get you in trouble if you play right into their hands.
Monty Poole, CSN Bay Area. Steve said earlier that he felt you guys showed a lot of fight, partly because you were embarrassed at what you guys did at OKC. Is that too strong? Do you sense that? And if so, did that kind of drive some of the fury that we saw tonight?
Well, yeah, we knew if we didn't win, we were going home. I mean, there's no other motivation you need. Embarrassed is kind of a strong word. We were just frustrated we didn't do what we were supposed to do. Or not necessarily that, but be ourselves and play the way we're supposed to play. Whether we win or lose, it's still hard to say against a great team, but we didn't give ourselves any chance to be competitive in OKC. And tonight we finally showed what we're capable of, and we have to, take that game and travel for Game 6. So, we're excited about that opportunity that we have, and another game to play.
Tim McMahon, ESPN.com. Steph, a few minutes ago, KD was asking here about your defense. He said you're pretty good, but you don't guard the other top point guards very often, and that they like the matchup of you on Russ. What's your take on that?
I got a great teammate that's obviously a better defender on the perimeter. I like the challenge. I'll do my job, best I can. That's what I'm out there to do. So in those situations, I don't get too caught up in the one-on-one matchup. That's, my job is to follow the game plan. And, I've done that the last 4 years of my career trying to elevate my defensive presence and do my job.
Steph, Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press Democrat up front. I think you guys were up 4 heading into the fourth quarter and went on an 8-0 run to start the fourth, and it was mostly second team in at the time. How important was that run, and generally how important were your subs tonight?
They were huge. Mo came in and gave us a huge boost on some offensive rebounds and putbacks. Dre playing great defense on KD and knocking down some threes, especially in the beginning of the fourth quarter. LB came in, got 2 steals right away, and made an impact on the game. Obviously, Sean hit some timely buckets, especially in the fourth quarter. So, like we said, we have a deep team that when we're all clicking and having an impact on the game, we're obviously much better. So that was a crucial moment to keep the momentum on our side. And in OKC, those are the kind of moments that can decide a game when, you're closing in, maybe going to come back or have a small lead, and you can try to create separation. You have to keep attacking, and every lineup has to do their job.
Steph, Brian Brinkley, KFOR TV over here to your right. What did you do specifically offensively tonight you guys weren't able to do in games 3 and 4? And how much was the points in the paint effect? You had 48 of those. Looked like you were attacking the basket a little more.
We still had a few too many turnovers at the wrong times, but for the most part, we managed that part of the game so that we could get a decent shot on every possession. Attack the basket a little bit more. We shot a few more free throws tonight, which was helpful because we were aggressive, I think, to start. So, got to kind of we'll watch the film and figure out exactly where those angles came from and where we could create miscommunication for them on the defensive end. But most importantly, we got stops, which helps because you can get in transition a lot better instead of taking the ball out the basket every single possession. They had 70-something points the last 2 first halves and 50 tonight or something like that. So still we can get better, but that helps us, have a better offensive game.
Steph, Michelle Steele, ESPN. At one point, you yelled at the crowd, "We ain't going home."
That's great grammar, right?
I'm not going to correct it. Don't worry about it. Don't be.
My Davidson people
quote.
are very embarrassed.
Is this the most emotional playoffs game that you've played so far in this year's postseason?
Yeah, obviously with what was at stake. So for us, we play better when we're having fun and enjoying the moment. And we played like we were really stressed in OKC, and it showed. Kind of try to let loose, be ourselves, have fun, enjoy what we were doing. And it was a good feeling out there to obviously perform at a high level. So got to bottle up that joy and take it with us on the plane tomorrow to OKC and be ready on Saturday. It's going to be an electric atmosphere, and I think we're ready for the challenge.
Great. Thank you for that.
That's the reigning MVP, Stephen Curry. I love it. We ain't going home. He said great grammar, right? But he was right. It's the first time this team's back, been against the wall, and they were able to get it done.
Yeah, it's fun to watch because after those 2 games of getting blown out on the road, OKC, we all thought, like, hey, let's see what these champions are made of. They came out to a fast start. Clay setting the tone. Draymond Green getting his energy back. Bogut blocking shots, keeping balls alive. So now it's Game 6. Let's see what these teams are made of.
What do you think is going to happen there at OKC Saturday night, Game 6, an opportunity to close it out, book a ticket to the NBA Finals for the Thunder? Steph saying the adrenaline rush is amazing at home, but it's a lot harder to quiet a road crowd. Do you think they can do it?
They're very capable of doing it, but I think OKC does it. I think OKC does not want to go back to Golden State for a Game 7. I think the champs, obviously, they to live to see another day, but for them, and for the OKC Thunder, this will be the toughest game of the series so far.
This will be the toughest game since they've gone to the finals, 4 or 5 years ago. So with all the injuries they've gone through the last few years, Russell Westbrook finally turned that page, being a true point guard, understanding how to facilitate and close out fourth quarter situations. I think this thing's over in Game 6. I just believe they can do it. But once again, Golden State showed us the heart of a champion tonight. They were able to get a big win home night in Oracle.
Well, speaking of being over, we're done here. Well, at least our post-game
that's
show
it?
here on NBA TV. As for Dennis Scott and Jamal Crawford, I'm Kristen Ledlow. That'll do it for just this part.
Okay.
Game time is on a little bit later, so don't worry, we're getting our money's worth with you here.
I'm
We'll be
with it.
back shortly.
Love it.
That'll do it for right now. Hang out with us all night long on NBA TV.